my prayer today was about cross. So, we think about how heavy cross is, how difficult life is. But the reframe that I got from my meditation today and prayer was that I can build muscles. I can build muscles to make the cross lighter. You don't have to think about the cross being so heavy only. You can do something about it. So I feel like no matter how hard it is, your situation may be, there's always ways to reframe it.
Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself. Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about that meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up.
Hello, and welcome to Bombastik Broadcasting with Kath, Kim, and Sue.
As you know, here at Bombastik Broadcasting, we believe in shining the light on all things bombastic and illuminating the folks who are stoking the fire in their souls one podcast at a time. And today we have with us the lovely Soojin, coming to us from Chicago. And Soojin's passion, so really unique perspective on things here. Love what Soojin is bringing to the table. Her brand of coaching is called Lotus Coaching and Advocacy. Her passion has stemmed from this healing of healthcare itself, really, through healing the healthcare workers. Therefore, the patients and the caregivers are all, being connected and really able to get the best care and be heard and matched up the best that they can. There's so much to this, so I'm just going to let the ball start rolling here. Welcome, Soojin, and so happy to have you here with your great and important perspective on this topic.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kim, Kath, and Sue, for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely.
It's great to have you, Soojin. And I love your topic. Healthcare is something I think is on everybody's minds at the moment. And, helping the healthcare workers is key. And so Lotus Coaching and Advocacy, what can you tell us about that?
So it all started, I never imagined that I would be a coach. I never imagined that I would be doing what I'm doing. But it all started, if we go back to my 18 years ago of myself, that I was a caregiver for my father, and the journey of caregiving for my father in a foreign country for him where language and cultural barriers exist. And there were so many gaps of care that he experienced. And during that journey, I learned so much. And after losing him a week before our flight to get more affordable, better care in my home country, South Korea, I decided to change my career to be a pharmacist. And after I became a pharmacist, I began sharing my story, began meeting our other advocates and activists who experienced medical harm in healthcare as well, like I did. And like without saying much, we understood each other. And we formed an organization called Patients for Patient Safety US. And during that journey, I realized something that it's very unique perspective of me because I started as a caregiver and became a clinician later, that healthcare workers were suffering, not only with burnout, but internally in families, for various reasons, and myself included. They were suffering internally, and in that status, there's no way patients and caregivers can get well when they come to healthcare for help. So I began digging deeper and found mental fitness. And also, relationship is the core of a lot of problems that healthcare workers face. So I formed my company to make better healthcare, I felt like healing healthcare was the first thing to do, so we can help patients and caregivers to heal what they're experiencing. I hope I'm making sense here.
That you're thinking about the healthcare givers, because if they're healed and they can have good relationships, then it just helps the patients so much, right?
Yeah, but interestingly, many advocates don't think about it like this, because a lot of patient advocates, um, I'm not judging in any ways,
No.
but it's in they are a lot of them are in victim mode for good reason, because they come to healthcare to get help and they don't get what they're asking for when they're at the most vulnerable position. So it is fully understandable why they get stuck in that mode and can't think otherwise for healthcare workers where they desperately need help. Um, but as like my unique perspective from being a caregiver to a clinician, I can kind of bridge the, two areas of the gap there, and have a real like core understanding why this is so important for patient safety and patients' well-being. Like if you just think about your own sake, for example, if you're not feeling good, like can you listen to another person's problem? Can you, do you have a room to like give themselves grace to really understand them, feel compassionate about what they're going through? That's really impossible as an individual. So clinicians are all individuals as well. So they do need help, and the sooner that we realize this, better healthcare we can provide.
You have a lofty goal, but that's absolutely fantastic.
I think that that's very important. The whole relationship of the healthcare worker to the whole healthcare, unit, the whole functioning of the healthcare. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everything can be looked as an individual. Like when we think about a system, we often think about different parts, but an individual can be thought as different parts too. We have different organs, different parts of our body working together to form each one of us. And, we all it can kind of simplify things, from when we are looking at systems like healthcare system, it seems so overwhelming, so big, and so many components to be worked on. But
Yeah.
and I feel like that one can that resonate quickly is just think about it as our body, like how like our each organ and everything, our cells and everything has to work together for us to function well, think well, and be well. So I think it makes total sense, right? Taking care of healthcare workers can be core of, healing healthcare, where they are the ones who face patients and caregivers. They're the direct people who take care of patients and caregivers. So how important they are, I feel like can't be emphasized any less, because
They're like
and
the heart
often
of the system.
yes, that's the heart of healthcare.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, I remember you saying just before we went live that you worked with like Capitol Hill. Are you still doing that?
Yeah, so this year we're not doing the march, unfortunately, in
Okay.
September because of change of the political climate. For
Okay.
one of the
All
reason, but
right.
there are other things going on in our organization. But we've been
Okay.
doing our march for 5 years. Last year was our biggest. So we arranged Hill Day visits with constituents and people in Congress, so they can bring their stories and ask for safer healthcare. And that's one of the things that we did. But we have continuous opportunities to bring the voices of patients and caregivers so that people in Congress can listen to these stories. Because I think about in their perspective, they have so many things to take care of, so many stories that they need to listen. But by being the voices for patients and caregivers, when they're most vulnerable, um, it is so important. So, and if we don't
Yes,
speak up, if we don't intervene like that, their stories, no one will know, no one will care.
right.
So we make that room, we make the space um, for these patients and caregivers. And what's beautiful about our organization is we've all experienced medical harm. So each one of us has either lost our loved ones or have experienced medical harm ourselves. And we are using our stories, not just for, our own healing, but like because by helping other people, you're healing ourselves and others and the society. So
That
That's
is
amazing.
huge. What an undertaking. Sure.
Absolutely.
Isn't
And
it?
then, so then you work with patients as well directly. And so now, since you don't have the Capitol Hill um, piece, uh, who are you working with the patient's stories with? Does that make sense?
I mean, our organization always, I have other organization called Patients for Patient Safety US that's under the umbrella of WHO that we keep working with governmental officials and government organizations and nonprofits to bring the voices of patients and caregivers. But currently, I'm focusing my own individual coaching and advocacy work so I can help patients and caregivers independently. I think both are important aspects. The top, where there's policy changes and political agents that we have to work with, but also I feel we need to work at individual level. So, I'm going to be focusing more on individual help that I can provide.
That sounds wonderful.
And then you also mentioned you were going to move into relationship coaching. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, or is it a little too soon?
So I'll be in training for a few months in that, but it has come to my realization that relationship coaching can be a game changer. It's something that AI cannot do. We talk
Right.
a lot about AI being able to change the world and getting rid of the jobs and all the
Yeah.
skills that people have to learn. But relationship healing isn't something AI can do for sure, even with advanced technology and how the best world is changing. So, and we are humans are we are born in relationships, and we continually have to work on relationships. So, as I was working through my own relationship issues, I learned so much. And as I was doing more coaching and mental fitness, I learned so much from their own healing. It's like I felt like they are teaching me instead of me teaching them something. So I think that's the beauty of coaching. I'm sure you all realize that as you are coaches as well. So um, it's I think that's what makes coaching so beautiful.
It
Yes.
is definitely magic how that happens. Like you work on your relationship and then all of the relationships around you, like your family, work, and then whatever you're doing in life changes, doesn't it?
Right. And it's an ongoing, it never
That's
stops.
it. No,
It never
absolutely.
stops. Yeah.
Never ever
That's the fun
stops.
of it. That's what keeps it fun. If it was all
Right?
perfect, it would be so boring.
Right. Exactly. There's always ways to reframe something. That's something like I realize, you may think one way, And then, I often pray. So, after I pray, I get the little voice telling me, you can think this way. Like this morning, I was thinking of, I'm Catholic, and my prayer today was about cross. So, we think about how heavy cross is, how difficult life is. But the reframe that I got from my meditation today and prayer was that I can build muscles. I can build muscles to make the cross lighter. It's just you don't have to think about the cross being so heavy only. You can do something about it. So I feel like no matter how hard it is, your situation may be, there's always ways to reframe it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Every little step is a new muscle. I love that.
I've had that perspective too with, how sometimes growth hurts. And I think of that muscle,
yeah,
you have to like stretch and tear the little muscle fibers to make that muscle bigger. So that helps get through the hard times, doesn't it?
right.
But I do want to say the perspective again, going back to, the circulatory system, and the body and the organs, and you really are part of that heart, like Sue said, that blood that is, connecting the healthcare system to that very intimate part of an individual's healthcare. And as the system has grown of healthcare to be so much bigger and so much insurance based and all those things that we need, financially maybe to keep this big system, this big ship afloat, sometimes the individual voice does get lost. So that message of advocacy for yourself, coming to be aware of what's happening in your body and having the voice to try to say it to someone who can actually hear you, who isn't depleted themselves as a healthcare worker because they're taking care of themselves. That whole connection, I've never heard anyone say it the way you have, and the clarity and the platform that you're creating excites me greatly. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for saying that. Yeah.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, I think, when we are walking on a path, it's hard to realize like what kind of path you're walking at. Um, but then when you look back, you walked so far and in an interesting way, and there were things that happened, and there were things that you observed. There's all kinds of learning in that path. So I think that's how I've come to this realization as a caregiver turned clinician pharmacist and now a coach. I feel like I'm kind of going in, closing the circle, like having a closure of like what can work. Because our system, the reason, I mean, the system is suffering. Everybody knows that, right? Everybody knows healthcare is suffering, and in it, who's in it, right? Healthcare workers are suffering in there, not only just the patients and caregivers. Um, but often I think healthcare workers don't get the help that they really need. It's not just the wages. It's not just, pizza. If you look for a pizza is not working hashtag out there, that's about, pharmacists not getting the help that they need in their workloads. And, because if you've ever visited a pharmacy and have seen like pharmacists working in retail pharmacies, they're multitasking all the time. And, majority of pharmacists and healthcare workers are women. Just think about like, and we're all women, right? And how much workload we have at home just by itself, having a home, kids, and all that. And outside we work, and we're also multitasking all the time. It's like in pharmacies. So we are constantly bombarded with work, and and it's just like I always look at this in a holistic way. And when we are multitasking, our memory suffers, our like brain
Mm-hmm.
function suffers, and this leads to like dementia and Alzheimer's when we get old. And part of the reason could be that, women live longer, but also part of the reason could be that we're always multitasking, always like not focused in one task. So, there's a lot to it than you realize. I could be biased since I'm a woman and we're all women. Um, but like not only like taking care of healthcare workers, not only takes care of the healthcare itself, but then it takes care of a lot of women healthcare workers who are suffering in there. 75% of healthcare workers are women, and then like 20, and then only like very little portion of it are in leadership. So if we kind of put that all together, women healthcare workers are guaranteed to suffer. So taking care of healthcare can really benefit women in society. Having
For sure.
healthy, yeah, healthcare
Healthy
workforce.
lives.
Yeah.
Healthy, beautiful lives.
Right.
Soojin, who are you going to be studying with?
So I was in a cohort where there were all kinds of coaches, but they all had relationship issues, and that's why we
Mhm.
were in this cohort together. And it varies. Some people have, you know, even deal with people who passed away. So how are we gonna mend that relationship, right? Like people who passed away, but still having some issues about that, right? And I'm sure
Mhm.
some of us will experience something like that too. Still
Absolutely.
still not resolved, even though the other person passed away, which I thought
Mhm.
was fascinating because I never imagined, you know, that kind of situation for myself. I only think about the people who are alive, but if
Sure.
relationship, it can linger. It's in your memory. So it kind of made sense why that would, bother some people.
Absolutely. So here at Bombastic Broadcasting, we like to say that a rising tide lifts all boats. So just tell us about your website and what you're offering right now, Soojin, and what's coming soon.
So I really want to help patients and caregivers who are Korean speaking because I'm a bilingual. Some patients and caregivers can't get the help that they really need, and some can't even fathom to seek care because our healthcare is so complex and their voices cannot be heard and they cannot be seen. So I want to be the bridges for them to get the care that they want and need.
That's great. And then you can also address like any sort of cultural aspects of using your voice and things like that.
Yeah, so many, I talk a lot about women. So, of course, because I'm a woman, I want to help other women thrive. And many women come from um, different countries, so South Korea, let's say, because we're Korean. So they come to United States and after marriage, and they are perfectly educated, intelligent women, but because of the language and culture barrier, when they come here, they feel helpless. They raise kids, and after so many years, they want to possibly get back to work or you know be the woman that they wanted to be, and they find it so hard. And so, and because they're suffering, of course I always talk about you know the mental health of one person trickling down, and this trickles down to children and family, and of course that the relationship suffers and it goes downhill, and there's generational trauma and generational scars just passed down like that. So there's a lot to what I want to do. And it may sound like I'm trying to be everything, but they are all connected for for a human being to thrive in an environment where they feel belonging and where they feel like they have tribes of their own. So um, that's where I want to build my business and coaching. Um, yeah.
Wonderful perspective. Love it.
Yeah. So currently I am building the website. I'm starting from my own website, like just me. It's gonna be called soojinjun.me, and I'm going to build from there to link with the coaching business that I'll be connecting with. So you can visit this website and find everything that's happening with me
Great.
as I expand my service. And yeah, so that's where things are.
Wonderful.
And
Sounds
do you
great.
have an Instagram or Facebook? Or not?
Yeah, so you can just Google my name, Susan
Okay.
Jun.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Soojin Jun. That's
Okay.
SOOJINJUN.
yes.
Well, thank you again, Soojin, for being here. Just a lot for people to think about and a perspective. You know, you've shown the light on something really important. So until the next time, be an advocate for yourself and your healthcare worker. Be the voice of the care you need, and be a part of a healthy relationship with your healthcare system.
Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up. My man Mo said that the reason that the world fucked up is cause everybody lazy. Positivity is corny to them, but they still gon' complain about the bad going on. Shit crazy. So I just had to drop a little project. I don't know what the object is, but this feels good. If you too hood for the good vibes, sorry I ain't got nothing for you. Why should I?
You shouldn't. We out here doing the things that y'all wouldn't. Life could be a sweet ride, proof is in the pudding. These guys with the weak vibes, I'll show them where to put it. Down bad, I was looking for the answer. Mind all mad, taking over like a cancer. Canceled the sub plans, came from up above. Told me everything we're doing, showing love, and I gotta
wake up. So much more in this world that you can do. Wake up. Every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up. You keep shining. You keep grinding. Wake up. All is aligning. All you gotta do. Wake up.
I've been getting so high, head up in the clouds. I don't ever wanna calm down, but I gotta
wake up.
Ain't enough time to be down. Bust a smile, cause it's yet another day that I'm allowed to
wake up.
Feeling blessed to be alive, man. Not long till we thriving. Take the time to remind yourself that it all starts inside yourself. Most.
Wake up feeling stuck every day, then you gotta realize that it's all in your mindset. Read about that meditation, you go get around to it, you just haven't had the time yet. Yeah, I bet. Best thing that you could invest in is you. Could have the results or could have the excuse. Only one life, so take care of what you choose. And I ain't preaching, I'm just telling you the truth. Wake up, so much more in this world that you can do. Wake up, every little thing in this life that you're going through don't mean a thing. Wake up, you keep shining, you keep grinding. Wake up, all is aligning.